So, hey, this is just another video coming for us from isolation to you as you shelter in your homes. Not being able to get together. It's been 5 weeks now that we've been like this, and I've got to admit, it's getting a little old. It's getting really old. I think if this goes on much longer, my wife's going to make a break for the Ohio border to go see our grandson, regardless of whatever the law has to say. But it has been good at times to be able to see each other's faces. I'm glad that some of you have joined us on our virtual foyer before church services. To be able to be in meetings and life groups and be able to see each other, it's been life-giving through this whole process. But I'll also say this, that we're going to be meeting like this for a while longer. As we've read the guidelines the government has put out, we're going to be sheltering for a little while longer. So please hang in there with us. It's going to be a while until we'll be able to meet together face to face. But this is not the first time ever in the history of the world that people have had to shelter like this. As a matter of fact, even in the Bible, there were times that they had to shelter and kind of withdraw from the world around them for a period of time. And God used every one of those times to do something amazing in their lives. I mean, think back. Noah might have been the first case of, social distancing. I mean, there was 8 of them on the ark. For 377 days, they were isolated in that ark. And it wasn't just them. I mean, think about it. I mean, there was animals. They had 2 of every kind of animals, 7 of different other kinds of animals. I mean, we think we have it hard at home now with 2 or 3 kids, but can you imagine what that was like? I mean, for us doing laundry every other day is almost imaginable, but cleaning out the bottom of a boat every week, and yet God taught them something amazing through all of that he was there to rescue people, that he always wanted a remnant of people that would worship and follow him. And that's not the only time. I mean, the Israelites, as they wandered through the wilderness, 40 years they wandered as God matured that nation, as they learned to listen only to God and not to the people around them during that time. David in the Psalms, another one of those cases where at times he was in the wilderness being chased by Saul, and he hid in caves. As a matter of fact, some of the Psalms that we read talk about how that David was in a pit and how that he was surrounded on all sides by enemies, and yet he learned in the midst of that to reach out to God, that God was his only hope, that God was his strength. Even the upper room, when we look at the apostles, after Jesus was resurrected, for 40 days they were in the upper room praying. They separated themselves from the city, from the people around them. They prayed and waited on the promise of Jesus to send them power. And when they did that, they learned something amazing from God, that God would supply what they needed, that he would come with power when it was time. God always brings something good out of moments of isolation. And I think he's going to bring some amazing things out of these moments of our isolation as well. I think it reminds us, even as a church, of a few things. It reminds us that the church is so much more than just a Sunday morning gathering, that the church is more than buildings and property, that the church, it's more than just programs. But the church is a people who've been called by God, that we gather as we can, but more importantly, that we're completely dependent on him. We're following him with our lives. We're always seeking God, and we're reaching out to the people around us. Maybe one of the things that we can learn in the midst of this time, that as a church, we really are missional. It's not just about what we come together to do as a church. It's about what, as we've been scattered into the places and really planted in the places where we are right now, what God is calling us to do and to be during these times right now. What we learn about God in this time as we've been isolated, it's going to be up to you. It's what you look for. If you look for the good in this, you'll find the good in it. If you look for just what we're losing out on, we'll see just what we're losing out on. But I'm convinced of this, that God is going to do something amazing through all of this. So we'll keep meeting on Sundays and gathering for worship and videos. We'll keep sending you updates along the way. We'll keep praying together and meeting together in our small groups, online as we can. And we're going to look for ways for God to use us through all of this. So hey, have a great day. And hopefully we'll see each other again really soon.